Hi everybody, Leather Rock here. Welcome to my channel and look who I have. Oh, calm down, calm down. Oops. So, you just saw Cassie and Tabby Boy, and for only the second time, I've been able to grab them together for the turnaround. You'll find out in videos that will be coming up pretty soon. So how you guys doing today? I'm going to walk very carefully so I don't fall off my shoes or step on Cassie. Boy, what a heck of a day it's been. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm looking at, in addition to balancing my computer on one hand, I'm also looking at the notes that I took for today. First thing I want to talk about is the latest COVID-19 stats. I don't know about you guys. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Before I get into what's going on with the state of New Jersey, I want to mention the United States totals. According to what I got today, I looked at a couple of websites like USA Today, Yahoo News, ABC News, and others. And United States confirmed cases as of today, 15,023,911. The deaths from COVID in the United States are, oh, this can't be right, 284,859. The recovered people, the people that used to have COVID-19 and are considered recovered, 5,714,557. Right now in the hospital in the USA, these are how many people have COVID-19. 104,000. Now, obviously, if the numbers that rounded up, that has to be an approximation. But yeah, things are not looking good. It seems to me that any spreading activities that happened around Thanksgiving, we are seeing the repercussions of this now. And some states are under total lockdown now, where most businesses seem to be closed. Now, in the state of California, a state that I follow closer than I do New Jersey, because I still have so many ties in California, there seems to be a problem with the fact that people can have catering for movie sets, and they can actually have outdoor seating, benches, and the food for the actors and the extras and all the tradespeople involved in the motion picture industry. And so the permits are obviously issued, and the filming and the feeding is allowed to go on. And yet, on the same street, a business that has been in the restaurant business for years, maybe decades, that invested in all kinds of money for additional sanitation. And after making all of these investments, they're told that they're not allowed to be open at all. And if people a half a block away can eat outside, what is preventing these businesses from lawfully being able to do the same? And the longer these lockdowns happen, the more businesses are going to be destroyed, and especially with the restaurant industry. So many businesses, they're like one more month shutdown away from never being able to open again. And people are having to decide to break the law or not, and having to decide between feeding one's family and ending up in jail or with a big debt because of all these fines. It's a heck of a position to be put in. And if it's not an equitable and not a fair way of applying the law, if the virus is dangerous in one circumstance and not dangerous in another, and it doesn't make any sense, why is it you can have 1,000 people go to big box stores and that are deemed to be essential businesses, and yet mom and pop stores that are selling the same things are not essential? What business is not essential? If somebody has made investments in time and money, and they have a business, and they're told by the government they're not allowed to open, and there's not any they're not having their bills paid, they still have rents and mortgages, and they still have to feed their families, just like anybody else. And so what about them? And I can understand so many people being upset about this. I would hate to be in that position of having sinking all that money into a business only to be told that I couldn't be open. So Uh, and as far as our governor here in the state of New Jersey, now most of my fellow Republicans seem to absolutely hate Phil Murphy. And when it comes to raising taxes, Murphy's very good at it. But one thing I have to say, just my opinion, as far as being proactive on this ever evolving situation with the COVID, he seems like he is paying attention to the latest medical information as it is being understood, and he keeps on changing depending on what we currently know. That said, this is of no comfort to people who are running gyms that are being fined thousands of dollars a day when it's never been proven that anything that they're doing is put anybody in any kind of jeopardy. Most businesses have signage saying that they want to have as safe a place as possible, and they don't want anybody who even thinks they have any symptoms to be on their premises. And most places ask people to wear facial coverings, preferably the ones that actually do some good, like N95s. Most people have a vested interest in keeping their fellows safe. Nobody wants to be sued. Nobody wants to go through. Also, if you are familiar with any of the businesses that have actually had to close and do deep sanitations when somebody has gotten COVID, apparently it's a real hassle to do the sanitation process. So most people want to stop problems before they start. Uh, there's something else that I wanted to bring up that when I was listening to talk radio, that's almost all that I am listening to on the radio is talk radio and different things. And I try to get information from a variety of sources and stations. Not that I'm looking for a different political slant, but there's always different details that one station will have that another doesn't. And I've been missing most of our governor's, not state of the state, but he's been having coronavirus briefings. But I try to catch the rebroadcast or the Clip Notes version that some talking head mentions. Hello, Tabby boy, I see you. So one of the things that he was talking about, actually, was under the context of a local DJ was complaining about the fact that state of New Jersey, voted for full legalization of marijuana. If you know me, you know marijuana is something that's near and dear to my heart. Tabby boy, what are you doing? And you know what? My cat's near and dear to my heart, and I'm afraid he's going to yep to something. So hold on a second while what are you doing? Hey, okay, Tabby boy, you want to go? You want to go out so you don't go wee all over my floor? Here, go, 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 bastard. Okay, where were we? Oh yeah. So anyway, there is somebody calling one of the talk shows, and they were complaining. The DJ was complaining about the short-sightedness of the New Jersey citizens that voted to legalize marijuana. And he was talking to a man that ran a series of recovery agencies. And so they were talking about how one of the things that the governor signed into law, and let me find information. Oh, first of all, they were saying that um, the way the laws were written for the legalization, it allows for every New Jersey adult to hold as much as 6 ounces at a time. And so the DJ one was saying to the recovery guy that he thought that 6 ounces would last the average person 6 months. Now, no, 6 ounces, first of all, 6 ounces, 6 months implies an ounce a month. Any serious pothead could go through a lot faster than that, including yours truly, if it was affordable and if it was we had unlimited access. Trust me, that could go. Some person go through a lot more than that. That's nothing. But oh darn, where did I write this down? Oh yeah. So anyway, Governor Murphy signed something called Executive Order 204. Now, this is in regards to the seating for indoors and for outdoors permissible. They keep on changing, as you know, depending on how badly we're having the COVID spiking. And they keep on changing how many is a maximum allowed for indoor seating and outdoor seating in gatherings, indoors and outdoors. Apparently, indoors, you can only have a maximum of 10 people indoors, but you can have up to 25 outside. But he made for a few exemptions, and one of the exemptions are for Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous 12-step meetings. Now, they also were talking about the AA process. A lot of them are on Zoom now. And actually, I've been wondering myself about catching a meeting. It really would not hurt. Sometimes I kind of get really upset over what this coronavirus is doing to people socially and the whole isolation thing. But not wanting to put myself in a dangerous situation of being in a small enclosed room with a whole bunch of people. And if you've ever been to a 12-step meeting, it's hard to be 6 feet away from people. They tend to be a lot closer than that. And of course, with it being colder, the outdoor meetings that apparently were going on might not be so comfortable now, especially in a day like today where it felt like it was in the 30s or 40s or something. It's been getting pretty cold lately and windy and stuff. And you're not going to feel like sitting around in a circle singing Kumbaya, much less doing the what is it, Serenity Prayer and all that stuff when you're really, really, really cold. So, but it was nice for the governor to realize that, especially with so many people that have taken up drinking, and you notice the liquor stores were never closed. I thought that would have been a good idea, actually, but apparently there are so many people that their compulsion for drinking alcohol isn't just psychological, but it also is physical. And there are people who I know who wake up with the DTs and they absolutely can't wait for the liquor store to open up so that they could get their wake up, even though most people I would think would have some waiting for them to wake up. But hey, it's been so long since I picked up a drink, and it's definitely no longer a part of my life. So I really don't think about those things too much. But anyway, since the liquor stores were never closed, I'm glad the governor realized that there would be people that are really worried about their sobriety, and they need, I don't want to think of myself as needing this fellowship, but it really does feel good to have the camaraderie and the emotional backup that a 12-step program can provide. I mean, even if you are pretty sure that you're not going to go off the wagon, there's something about it. It's a little bit easier to be held personally accountable if you know that a lot of people know that you are in recovery and you don't do certain things anymore. And even though that said, there are some people that are rather on their moral high horses and seem to think that if you are smoking cannabis, then you're not considered clean. And that's really painful and sad. And for somebody to actually come right out and tell you that you're clean and sober did not count. Even my mother thought that was a crock of horse shit. And she knows that I'm a better version of myself than I used to be. And even though I enjoy marijuana, that doesn't mean that I can't be good where it counts as far as I know what I'm not doing. You know what? I want to plug my cable in. Hold on a second. Oh, yeah, I don't like the battery to get too low when I'm filming. So it's really looking pretty depressing when you look at the COVID statistics. And you knew that it was not practical to expect people to restrain themselves in the holiday times. And just like they're saying that they don't think that we should be doing much for Christmas, I'm sorry. Taking away Thanksgiving is hard enough, but you're going to say that you're going to take away people's Christmas? No, no, I just, people have had enough. Really, the quicker we can get this damn vaccine, and I know there's some people that won't take it no matter what, but for you anti-vaxxers out there, what about your childhood shots? Were you not immunized as a child? In order to get any kind of at least a public school education, at least when I went to school, you had to have your immunization records. And the fact that we have immunizations, that's why so many dreaded diseases are were almost unheard of. But now you have, with the illegal immigrants and other immigrant populations, maybe they weren't illegal, but maybe for whatever cultural reasons they decided not to get shots. Um, why anybody would not avail themselves of every effort to protect themselves and their family, I will never understand, especially when you have something that's tried and true and tested for decades and decades. Now, I know this latest vaccine has been fast tracked, and nobody wants to give President Trump the credit, of course. But yeah, people, I'm hoping that my mother gets this vaccine very early, and they say that it's the people who are the healthcare workers, and the older people, and especially the older people that are living in assisted living facilities and nursing homes and things like that, or the people that are living in group homes because they just cannot, like the people with developmental disabilities and stuff, and the comorbidities. I'm sure those are the people that are going to have to get it. Oh, there was something I wanted to show you. I'm going to have to go into the kitchen for it. So I had heard that there has been some suppression of any publicity about efforts that our current President Trump did on behalf of hungry and homeless people. And so I got a printout that I want to share with you. You may or may not have heard this. Starting a few months ago, President Trump put some things into play, cooperation between our nation's farmers and local food banks all across the United States. Obviously, the food comes from the farmers, and there is a distribution pipeline using social service agencies, using faith-based agencies. Some of them are political, some of them are religious, some of them are just groups of citizens that care about hungry people. And especially now with this pandemic, where so much of the food normally would have been reverted to the restaurant trade, and with that business being largely decimated due to the COVID restrictions, so the food oftentimes has been rotting in the fields, but food banks still need food. And with all the people with the great unemployment caused by COVID, people still have to eat. So there's a pipeline in place to get the food from the farmers to the different agencies and get it down to the people. But apparently, there are some people that hate Trump so much that they would rather their citizens not get food than them have food that has Trump's name on it. Well, I present to you a letter on the White House letterhead. One side's in Spanish and one side's in English. This is not the first. Wait a minute. Let me get the first letter, because this is a later letter. Let me see. Uh, Oh, okay. Actually, no. This is the same letter. The other letter was from the stimulus check. So this was a letter that Trump signed and had included with a whole bunch of food boxes. And several places, including Portland, Oregon, including Seattle, including, I believe, Chicago, Illinois, several other places, either the food was refused or these letters, such as I'm about to read you, were taken out because the powers that be did not want the citizens to know that Trump had anything to do with this. And I read, "Dear family, as president, safeguarding the health and well-being of our citizens is one of my highest priorities. As part of our response to the coronavirus, I prioritize sending nutritious food from our farmers to families in need throughout America. We are partnering with local organizations, farms, and ranches to ensure that you receive locally sourced fresh fruits and vegetables, as well as dairy and meat products. Over the last 4 weeks, we have delivered 50 million farmers to families food boxes to American families, and we will continue to serve those most in need during this challenging time. As our company reopens, I urge all Americans to continue to adhere to the important precautions set forth in the President's Coronavirus Guidelines for America and by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention regarding how to best protect yourself and your family. A few key best practices to support our nationwide recovery are: practice good hygiene and wash your hands. People who feel sick should stay home. Protect the most vulnerable individuals, including those 80 plus years of age and those with pre existing conditions. Practice social distancing and consider wearing a face covering when in public. To learn more, please visit www.coronavirus.gov. You and your loved ones are cherished members of our great American family. This pandemic has brought many hardships on millions of hardworking individuals and communities throughout no fault of our own. We will support America's recovery every step of the way. Together, we will overcome this challenge, and our nation will emerge from this crisis stronger than ever before. Sincerely, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. People do not want people to know that the president did this for us. There are people that said that this was too much like electioneering. And even if it was, so what? Um, Maybe they fail to remember that all presidents at some point in their life, unless some tragedy happens to them, all presidents run for reelection. And it's perfectly reasonable, if not easy, to both govern and do your campaign at the same time. It's part of our political system. And if you have any kind of control over food distribution in your area, and say you hated President Trump's guts, I know some of these people do, just because of how you feel about the president does not give you the right to decide to withhold food from your hungry people. Especially some of these people that have this kind of jurisdiction. Some of them have uh, fairly decent incomes, and you would think that they would give up some of that to help some of these homeless people, some of these unemployed people. When this pandemic happened, that was brought over here, came over here from China, is pretty much as a biological weapon as far as the world's concerned. And what it has done to the economic of all these countries, what it has done to people, what it's done making domestic violence worse, um, pet abandonment, uh, people taking things out on their animals, people. Interestingly enough, they have less money to spend and yet more substance abuse, which makes me wonder, if you got less money coming in, why are you spending the money that you can't afford on drugs if you cannot even afford your rent? Unless you found a way to get your drugs for free, then I can understand. I can understand free things, you know. Maybe I've even appreciated getting some free things a time or two in my life. No shame in that, you can't pay what you can't afford. But for those people who would rather have their politics keep them from taking care of the best interests of the people. And it's really frustrating. And and look at all the people that are trying to make sure that Trump doesn't get any kind of credit at all for the acceleration of the approval, the working on the approval of this vaccine. I think it's really interesting that there are some other countries that have approved it and are already getting it, that Russia's getting it before any Americans are getting it. And I think it's partly due to the regulations. I think it is, I believe that there are powers that be that do not want to make the president look good the closer to, and we probably could have been getting it before Election Day, but that would have uh, made it too easy for the president, but then again, there's voter fraud. So, oh boy, yeah. Can you believe that? We were this close. We're this close to getting the vaccine. For those of you who will take it, I understand that over 30% of Americans say they will not take it. And that's ridiculous. We need a lot more people taking it in order to get that quote unquote herd immunity. Because when you get the vaccine, you're protecting not only yourself, but you're protecting some of the people who will not get it. And the great thing is that the first person to get it was in their 90s. I wrote it down someplace else. I have notes all over the place. Anyway, it is obviously, and they said that they did not have any side effects. If it's safe enough for somebody in their middle to late 90s, who I guess would be very fragile, having deal with all kinds of comorbidities, all kinds of fragilities that an older person would have, and they need this so much. If you're not going to think of yourself, think of those. You must love some older people, maybe, or if you don't know any personally, you know people who do have older people who they love. Think of them. That's part of the reason why I wear a mask, is not just for myself, but it's out of consideration for other people. And if in fact this is true, that it's so easy to have, say you had the virus, but you had very mild symptoms that you wouldn't even notice. And if you're like me and my family, where we are prone to sinus problems, my nose is runny right now. I had to take a Sudafed an hour before I turned the camera on. And now I'm seeing that there's so many more symptoms of COVID that are not the original ones. If you ever go into any of the Atlantic City casinos, you should see the list of potential symptoms. And usually I have some of those symptoms, but I'm pretty sure that it's just my plain old sinus issues. My mother takes sinus pills too, but she takes something that's a little bit different, that has less of a chance of raising her blood pressure. I shouldn't be raising my blood pressure either. It's funny how it sneaks up on you. I used to have very, 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 very low blood pressure, and through the years it inches up a little bit. But and they call it the silent killer. It does not have any symptoms unless you could feel it. Like if you get really pissed off and you could feel your blood pulsing on your temples. Like you ever listen to Mark Levin? He gets really riled up about something. You could just feel. I'm thinking to myself, calm down, dude, chill out, take a deep breath, smoke a joint, which he won't do. And I was saying this before I knew anything about him, and I believe that he did say that he had some heart issues in the past or something. And you can tell some people just get really, really passionate about things. It's not craziness; it's passion. Why anybody their voice raises and it gets on a higher pitch about things that they care about. You see it with all the pundits on TV and all the guys on the radio when they're really riled up about something. So, oh, I hear Tabby boy. My baby. You said good, you're finally eating your num nums. Oh, my baby's finally eating his num nums. Tabby boy and Cassie got to eat deer meat today, and they did. Wow. I think I told you that we have a deer carcass that's not obviously a whole big deer body, but it's made up into pound packages of different kinds of deer meat. There's a place in Delaware that processes it. The deer was shot by a family friend a couple months ago. So I made deer fried rice for dinner today, and I set aside some extra deer, and I fried that up just with water, and I didn't put any seasoning in it because Kitty should not be eating the seasonings that we use and things. And I put some in a bowl for Cassie, and I put some in a bowl for him. And he didn't eat his at first. I mean, he's just now eating it now. So yes, go ahead and eat your num nums. So yeah, but I ate a little bit before filming, but I didn't want to eat too much. I normally don't eat it all before I go on film because I eat and then I feel all bloated and I feel like I'm just one big belly and I feel like I look like I'm pregnant and stuff. But I hadn't eaten since today at noon, I had just a small, the tiniest little pork patty sandwich. And that's all I had time for, and 2 cups of coffee, and I was just too busy today, had too much to do. I had a bunch of hand laundry to do. I was busy with my day job thing too, doing a bunch of surveys and things, and I've actually been doing pretty well with that the past couple of days. But now I was going to cash out the PayPal at the beginning of the month. I said, no, I'm on a roll here. Let me keep on working. And then I just realized something. You're only allowed one PayPal cash out a month is service charge free. If I do more than one a month, they're going to try to hit me with a 20-cent fee for my second in a month. And the thing is, since I missed December 1st, now I have to cash out on December 31st, approximately at midnight, so that I can have a line of demarcation of when I'm working in 2020 and when I'm working in 2021. So I need to, and yeah, I'm not going to lie, there's a part of me that really wants to get a few more things on wish.com. And by the way, as far as the Black Friday sales and stuff, I totally missed them this year. I was too busy focusing on the YouTube channel and also on my day job and things dealing with the cats and trying to clean up around the house and things. So I missed the Decium 23% off sale that they have every year. And that was for the whole month of November. And November, I really could not spend money. I had money that I had set aside for other things. And when I have something earmarked for a specific purpose, that I discipline myself to take care of that, especially if it's something that's not really what I call negotiable. Some of these things are Christmas shopping, which obviously you can only do early enough so that you can get whatever in time for Christmas. But other than that, there are times when I'm working, but I'm not necessarily spending money. So anyway, I missed that sale, which means that the skincare from them that I bought last year, I'm going to really have to make that last, and I'm also going to have to supplement it from with the skincare that I buy from Wish.com. So I was going to be getting some more vitamin C's from Decium, so I guess I'll have to buy them from Wish. Uh, oh, I wanted to show you something. I had a little adventure involving a thrift store, and I saw this blazer. It was $1, and I really wanted it. And I took it off the rack and I had it in my arms. And this little old Chinese lady, or whatever the heck she was, she asked me for it. I don't know what it was. I let her take it. And I'm like, and I saw that she was grabbing all these mostly big, huge, giant things. And I think she was getting things for resale or something. That was my gut feeling. And I kept on trying to ask her, saying, honey, you don't really need that. Come on, it's obviously way too small for you. And I could not reason with her. She was just grabbing all these things and grabbing all these things. So I had to get a little underhanded. And maybe this was cheating, but somebody had asked me where a certain gadget is, whatever, and I happened to seen it. So I pointed them in the direction of where it was. And this lady, meanwhile, the one who had taken the jacket that I really wanted, she was just piling things onto this area, and she wasn't near the cash register yet. So hold on, I got something to show you. So when she wasn't looking, I took it out of her pile and I bought it. Is this not fantastic? Here, bring this back here where the lighting is better. Look at this. I saw this and I thought this was just so amazing. Matter of fact, I'll put it on. The shirt that I'm wearing is right now is very, very, very large, but it tucks in very well to the gray skirt. So, and these polka dots are just so cheery. Kind of remind me a little bit of the Wonder Bread logo. And I don't even like squishy white bread, but the polka dots are just so happy. Now, I know this doesn't go with the jacket, but I wanted to show you this jacket. I think is just, oh, too fabulous. That said, with the current state of both the economy and with COVID and with the election fraud and everything, I'm just not yet ready to wear the usual bright, happy colors that I love the best. I fully am into dressing for state of mind, for how you feel. And right now, when I see that, oh God, I hate to think about how our country will change in 4 years if, in fact, Joe Biden really is our president. It just, and half the country feels the way I do. So, yeah. So that's why I'm going to be wearing as many browns and blacks and grays and just dark colors. That's how I feel. I mean, and if nothing's going to be open, where's the Christmas parties going to be at? Where's the concerts for Christmas and New Year's and stuff? Nothing is safe to do anymore. And they said even if everybody was to start getting vaccinated now, it's going to be a while before it's really safe enough for us to be able to go about our lives back to normal. I mean, I want it to be back to normal. I know you do too. And so many people have this COVID fatigue. It's not natural to be so socially isolated, even for people who are loners. And I am very much a loner. Well, depending on what the options are for socializing. Frankly, there's not a whole lot of people around, depending where I'm at. And I'm definitely about quality as opposed to quantity. That said, there's nothing quite like the energy rush of being in a crowd, which of course is too dangerous to do now. But big groups of people, that I find it to be very energizing. And yeah, but none of these things are available to people now. That's why when people don't see their friends for a while, they hug them and stuff, and all of a sudden you think, oh, maybe that wasn't safe to do. But but if I got a phone call saying that, hey, you guys, your whole family can get vaccinated next week, I can't speak for my brother, but my mother and I will be first in line. I cannot imagine. There's so many people. It's my understanding. Maybe I heard wrong, but it's my understanding that most of our living presidents said that they would gladly take it. Dr. Anthony Fauci said that he would take it. Uh, so if that should tell you something right there. If these people who were our former presidents, and if healthcare professionals, if it's good enough for them, I don't understand why anybody would think it's not safe enough. And I think the more people stand up to be counted to take the vaccine, heck, if I could get it on camera and do it on YouTube, I'd do it. I have a feeling they probably wouldn't allow such a thing. But, unless they allow people to self-administer, in which case, hey, I would be very glad to do that on YouTube. I would think that would be maybe show people, look, it's not so scary and it's not as uncomfortable. I mean, all shots are uncomfortable. You want to know what shot's uncomfortable? Anything in your gums, any needles in your gums, that's uncomfortable. Any other shot, shut up, man. Tell you about it, discomfort. Or how's about getting a freshly a cracked tooth that everything is, all the food's getting caught up in? I thought I wasn't going to have to deal with that anymore. Guess what? Oh, and now there's a rumor that some New Jersey people's health insurance now may not have gotten fully funded. So after the first of the year, we don't know. I don't know. I have not. It seems to me if that was true, we would have gotten letters in the mail. There has been no letters in the mail saying that anybody's insurance is in danger of being canceled. Sometimes you think that what you're hearing are just some rumors being spread by people who have a political agenda. So that's why you have to think about where it is that you heard the information from. And if you get your news from a variety of sources, it all starts to run together for after a while. You know. So, oh, want to see my tomato situation? Yeah, let's check this out. Oh, I'm gonna close this so that I don't want my mother to find out I've been using the coffee grinder for my weed. But you know what? Coffee grinders really are very good for grinding marijuana. Okay. Now, can you see the red tomato? Okay, I'm trying to. I can see it, but oh boy, it's. I'm trying to do this with one hand now. Let's see if I can. Can you see the tomato? Well, I don't know if you could see that or not. Oh, check out the purse that I got today. I thought it was a mini skirt at first. This is actually a handbag. I thought that was absolutely adorable. And of course, with the colors and the iridescence on it, that is more a spring and summer bag, preferably to go nightclubbing in. And of course, there are no dance floors open right now. But maybe if they start distributing the vaccine, then the clubs will be able to be open. I'm sure missing the dance floors. I'm real jonesing for that. And I know I'm not the only one. So, hi, Cassie. Let's see Cassie. Oh, I see Cassie. Oh, I see a Cassie girl. I do. Oh, I see a Cassie girl. Look, oh, my baby. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. Are you my baby? Are you my baby? Yes. Why am I talking to you when you can't hear me? Oh, my baby girl. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. Yes, this is my Cassie. See, look at this face. Look at this pretty face. Isn't she pretty, girl? Look at that pretty girl. Oh, now don't get this dirty. Don't get my shirt dirty. No, don't get my shirt dirty. We see that pretty girl. Who's your baby? This is my baby cat. My Cassie. Oh, my Cassie. She's so pretty. My baby girl. My baby. Oh, my baby. It's okay. It's okay now. You scratching me. Oh, you're scratching me. Don't scratch me. My baby. She's so pretty. Bye bye. Oh, okay. All right. I put you down. Okay. Oh, so let's talk about John Lennon. Today, 40 years ago, John Lennon was murdered in New York City. Can you believe it was 40 years ago? Maybe we shouldn't focus on the years. Can't believe it was 40 years ago. Should I even admit that I remember when this happened? Oh, maybe I won't. Okay, scratch that. But I still want to talk about John Lennon. He was loved all over the world, especially in Los Angeles. And when I was there, my favorite bar is called the Rainbow Bar and Grill. And the Rainbow Bar and Grill, for those of you that don't know, is a special rock star hangout in West Hollywood, right next to a place called the Roxy. It's on Sunset Boulevard on an area called the Sunset Strip. A lot of people call it Hollywood, but it's technically West Hollywood, which is right next to Beverly Hills. And so it's at a perfect location for showbiz people, actors, models, rock stars, rappers. It's very close to the fancy neighborhoods that these people live in. It's got the valet parking. It's just this really amazing place. Last time I was there was in 2006. So if it's changed any since then, like they never used to be, they never used to offer live entertainment there. But after 9/11, they started having some live acoustic music there. Recently, what's been going on there, I don't know, but it still definitely exists. Um, the Rainbow Bar and Grill has a downstairs that has a restaurant area and a bar, and the upstairs has another bar and a dance floor. And then there's an actual third floor level that's technically it's a little VIP lounge, and you could be, hanging around on the second floor where the dance floor is or whatever, and all of a sudden a cocktail waitress would tap you on the shoulder and say you've been invited up, and that anybody that's renting out that area can invite anybody up there they want. And a lot of times rock stars will be up there, or they could be somebody that's got enough money to rent out the room. And I don't know how much it costs to do that, but I've been up there a few times. And usually they give you drinks or they give you cocaine. Never any weed, because you can't. At the time, they didn't want to get in trouble for having smoking in there. Now, maybe with marijuana being legal, maybe it wouldn't be so hard to sneak something like that, because you can imagine that you can't sneak smoking something in a way that you can chop rails or something and go, and you wouldn't smell it, obviously, so you can get away with a lot more there. But anyway, the reason why I'm mentioning this VIP area is right at the entrance to it is this wooden placard, and it's a sign commemorating an unofficial players club of sorts there, that I believe all the people that belong to this may be dead. John Belushi was one of them. One of the guys from Led Zeppelin, I think, John Bonham was mentioned there. John Lennon was mentioned there, and a few other people. And so it was something that everybody always appreciated. And also another thing about the Rainbow Bar and Grill, downstairs, it kind of looks like a Hard Rock Cafe in that it is loaded with rock and roll memorabilia, mostly of an 80s hair metal variety and 70s classic rock, but really all kinds of entertainers. And I would imagine, since I've been there, probably is other things besides rock music. In fact, the last time I was there, I was a little bit disappointed to see a whole bunch of rappers there. They still played the 80s hair metal music, but there was a lot of rapper types there. And that was disconcerting, because it was always a place that I associated with the big hair, 80s rock star kind of thing, in the 70s classic rock, long hair aesthetic, But to see that place having some rapper people there, that was just didn't feel right. And then, of course, a few people that were there that I knew were people that knew me when I used to do things that I'd given up. So, of course, people still offering you cocaine and still offering you drinks. And I have to say, oh, I don't do this anymore and stuff. So, but to know that that was a place that he loved also. If anybody's ever been in Los Angeles, you would know that for the anniversary of John Lennon's death, and for the anniversary of John Lennon's birth, they always have events going on at the Beatles Star. And there's John Lennon has a separate star, and the Beatles have a star. Now, I'm sure with the coronavirus, they're not having everything's different this year. But what they would usually have is they would have a Beatles tribute band would play. The Hare Krishnas would show up giving free food to people. And matter of fact, the last time I saw the Hare Krishnas there, they were giving out chocolate chip cookies. They had cannabis in them. Of course, I didn't feel anything from it, but that said, when you have a high tolerance, of course, maybe you're not always going to feel things. But I love being in Los Angeles during these anniversaries. And one year I was there when when George Harrison passed away. And at the time I was staying this was after 9/11, and I happened to be staying in Scorpio's, no, excuse me, Hollywood Superman's apartment. Now, let me tell you, the iconic Hollywood screen characters or cartoon characters, and Superman being among them. And so I have a really good friend that lives there who dresses up as Superman. He's been doing it for a long, 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 long time. As a matter of fact, he married his wife in Mackinac Island, the same place where uh, that movie Somewhere in Time was filmed. So anyway, he's a very serious lifestyle. He looks like Clark Kent out of his Superman tights and everything, and then with the Superman stuff, he looks exactly like him. And I lived with them for a while, and I happened to be there the day that George Harrison died, and that's how I found out about it. So I went straight to my storage, which was like 2 or 3 blocks away, and I got out this pink T-shirt, Beatles shirt I have that's cover of the Let It Be album. And so if I was doing this live stream in Los Angeles instead of here in New Jersey, I would be wearing the Beatles shirt now, but I don't have it here. It's on the West Coast. So, and the thing is, I thought that I had brought most of my clothes here, but for whatever reason, I didn't. Unless it was something that I got lost on Greyhound. Last time Greyhound lost my luggage, which would have been in the year 2000, but no, that obviously couldn't have happened because if I lost the luggage in 2000, then I couldn't have had it in 2001. So. Yeah, boy, that was real interesting living with Superman. That was really cool, especially when some of his other superhero buddies would come in to smoke some weed, because they're all potheads, right? And be walking out of there with all the superheroes. That's the great thing about Hollywood, is that you see a lot of people, they could be real actors and they're coming home and they might not change until they get home. So you see all these interesting people walking around, and taking subways and taking the buses, because not everybody drives. Some people actually do take public transportation in Los Angeles. It's not just poor people, not just people who had one car and had it stolen. And it's actually very possible to get around in Los Angeles. Well, I hope this was of value to you guys. When I saw all the COVID stats, and I had a lot more things written down for the past couple of days, but it seems to me from day to day, whatever the latest numbers are, things are spiking so badly now that within 2 days, the numbers become obsolete. So all I could say is please hang in there. Try to get the vaccine if you can. I would hate to see this ruin Christmas. That said, whenever we gather, it seems like things happen afterwards. So just please be safe. And I will never understand anti-vaxxers. I just, I'm glad my parents made sure I got all my shots. So I just will never understand how, especially if it's something that you can afford and you have a way to protect yourself, why don't you do it? So, all right. I hope you guys have a good night. And I want to cut this a little short. I want to eat a little bit more. And yeah. Oh, look who's here. Cassie. Cassie, want to help me say goodbye? That pretty girl. I see my pretty Cassie girl. Oh, I see my Cassie girl. Oh, yeah, you're going to say goodbye. Everybody, say goodbye. Just say goodbye. Say goodbye. Oh, say goodbye. This is my baby girl. Oh, say goodbye. Okay, if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you like me and my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. I'd like to take you along with me on my adventures, and I usually try to have my cats because a video is not a video without a pussycat or two, right? So take care, be good, and you be good, Cassie. Bye. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right. Hey, 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 hey. Bye bye. Stop it. Oh.